My name is Kiati. I am the head of the firm of Joshi and Kitts Limited. Thank you very much for joining us. This video is going to give you an insight into the exemptions from the requirements in a spouse application. So our last video covered what requirements are to be met when making a spouse visa application. So say you are married to somebody who is a British national or settled in the UK, you're outside the UK at the moment, and you want to come in as a spouse. Requirements previously we addressed in our first video. This video is going to tell you what are the exemptions, so you don't have to meet those requirements. Right, so let's begin. The first requirement was that the marriage must be legally valid. That is still the requirement, I'm afraid. There is no exemption around that. So make sure the marriage is legally valid where the marriage took place in that country. The second requirement, the financial requirement, where the sponsor, the British national or the settled person in the UK must earn $18,600 for the wife or the husband to come in the UK. Now an exemption, a way around it would be if the sponsor is getting one of these benefits. The benefits are, for example, disability living allowance, carers allowance, attendance allowance. I've given a list below in the description box, so see if the sponsor meets these requirements. Okay, so that's one. An exemption also applies to the English language requirement. There are two exemptions. One is if the person coming in the UK is over the age of 65, or the person is a national of a country which is in the list of the countries. Again, list is below. So this list, the Home Office is saying that if you're a national of one of these countries, you don't have to actually get the English language certificate. Great, okay. Now finally, this is a huge exemption from all the requirements, which is if your sponsor has 5-year refugee status in the UK at present, your sponsor is not British and not settled, and you outside the UK met and married the sponsor before the sponsor came to the UK. So let's just I'll repeat that. The sponsors in the UK has refugee status at the moment, and the person making the application as the wife or the husband from outside the UK met and married the sponsor with refugee status in the UK before the refugee status sponsor came to the UK. So in effect, the relationship and the marriage took effect before the sponsor was granted refugee status, before the sponsor came in the UK. Okay, so I hope these exemptions will help you effectively decide whether you meet the requirements for the spouse visa application or not. All right. Now, finally, where the application is where the applicant is not able to meet any of these requirements, and that means that the husband or wife from outside the UK can never be sponsored by the British national in the UK. The application will be refused by the Home Office, but fear not, because on appeal, when the sponsor goes to court, the appeal is on human rights. So the court doesn't care if you meet these requirements. The court is concerned with whether there are exceptional and compelling circumstances, which means that you can come in because of your family life, because the sponsor can never submit an application to sponsor you which would be successful by the Home Office. So if you can't meet any of these requirements and you do not fit in the exemptions that I've just mentioned just now, fear not, as long as there are exceptional circumstances which you can then later on inform the court on appeal. Right, I hope this has been helpful. We'll see you very soon. Thank you very much for joining us. Take care. Thank you. Please don't forget to subscribe and contact me. Details below. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.